extinguish the fire. Now we start with Taiwan. Taiwan's Ministry of Defense has reported that it has tracked 27 Chinese military aircrafts and 8 naval vessels operating close to its territorial boundaries. The ministry has stated that 19 Chinese aircrafts have crossed the median line of Taiwan Strait, entering the northern, central, and southwestern parts of Taiwan's air defense identification zone. Meanwhile, the Taiwanese forces have stated that they have been monitoring the situation closely and had taken appropriate response measures to safeguard national security. Earlier on October 16th, Taiwan's Ministry of Defense had reported 21 Chinese aircrafts and 9 naval vessels. The ministry had stated that 16 fighters and KJ-500 early warning aircraft participated in joint air-sea exercises alongside Chinese naval vessels. Now for this discussion, we're joined by Ross Feingold. He's a political analyst, joins us live from Taipei. Thank you, Ross, for joining us. Good to see you. Ross, now looking at these recent incursions or recent spottings of a lot of Chinese vessels in near Taiwan, how do these escalations impact Taiwan's current stability and its defense potential response or defense mechanism?
Well, it doesn't really have any effect on the stability of Taiwan. Frankly, these daily incursions have no effect on business as usual activities. People go to work, people go to school, people enjoy their weekend. So for the population at large, this really has no effect on their lives. However, it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the military because the Taiwan military has to fly its own planes and sail its own ships to monitor what the Chinese are doing. And this costs a lot of money. It's wear and tear on the equipment, and it's very tiring on the personnel. And the Chinese know that, and that's one reason why they continue to do this.
And just a few hours ago, or just recently, we saw this news coming in from Taiwanese government that they are eyeing to make something like Iron Dome of Israel. How feasible is that, and can Taiwan afford it right now?
I think you've identified two of the key issues. Now, whether it's feasible or not, the answer is probably yes. Taiwan, of course, is well known for its technological capabilities. There are very brilliant engineers and related talent here in Taiwan, and the Taiwan government certainly has the money to pay for it, although it would have to take funds away from other potential priorities. So those are the issues. It will take time, and it will take a lot of money. And it's possible the U.S. Might assist as well, the U.S. being Taiwan's main foreign weapons supplier. But if there's a willingness to put in the time and spend an enormous amount of money, then sure, it's possible.
And do you think that there will be potential responses or roles that international players like United States or Japan will play in deterring further military provocations near Taiwan?
That's an interesting question because the U.S., of course, has activities in the South China Sea. It sometimes sails its naval aircraft through the Taiwan Strait. Japan, periodically similar actions, but certainly far less than what the United States does. But none of that deters China. So when China says they are enforcing their own sovereignty claims, whether that's in the South China Sea, or in the Taiwan Strait, or the East China Sea, the actions of other militaries, whether that's U.S., Japan, South Korea, Australia, the Philippines, nothing they do deters the Chinese military from taking the actions that they want to take. So it's a really interesting question because one could say, well, why isn't the U.S. doing more? The U.S. does a lot, and it's possible that it could do more. But there's always going to be somebody who says more military activity by the U.S. or Japan or South Korea or Australia, the Philippines, is only going to escalate the situation.
Right. Thank you, Ross, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you. Now we stay on this topic. Taiwan's main opposition party, the Kuomintang, has elected a former lawmaker, Chang Li-won, as its new leader. Chang has pledged to ensure peace with China. Chang has laid down 3 principles that the Kuomintang believes Taiwan should adhere to. She has further stated that there can never be any military conflicts in the Taiwan Strait, and that it is irresponsible to use the red label, the color of China's Communist Party, as a tool for political struggle. Let's listen into what she has said.
我们一定坚持3大原则。第一，我们绝对不能够让台湾成为麻烦制造者。第二，我们也绝对不让台湾沦为地缘政治的牺牲品。第三，中国国民党会担起责任，积极地为区域和平做一个和平的缔造者。这是我们对国际社会最庄严的承诺，这也是我们最重要的3大原则。大家面对2300万人，应该共同的拿出善意跟诚意。两岸的和平不只是两岸人民最高的期待跟福祉，也是区域甚至于是人类和平最重要的一个任务跟工作。台海绝对不可以发生冲突跟军事冲突，所以请不要这么轻易、不负责任的、廉价的拿红色标签作为政治斗争的工具。
While the KMT lost the presidential election last year, the party and its ally, the Small Taiwan People's Party, together hold the most seats in the Taiwanese parliament, playing a significant role in influencing legislation. Taiwan will hold mayoral elections next year, which will mostly focus on domestic issues, but will be an important measure of support ahead of the 2028 presidential vote. Now for this discussion, we go back to Ross Feingold. He's a political analyst, joins us live from Taipei. Thank you, Ross, for staying with us. Ross, does this individual, does her being a candidate or being a mayor change anything in relations with China?
It's too early to tell, but the key thing is, even though her political view is to have more dialogue with China, the reality is her party doesn't control the government. The government's controlled by the Democratic Progressive Party of President William Lai, and his views on China relations or Taiwan's relationship with China is significantly different than the new KMT or Kuomintang party chairwoman, Zhang Li-wen, who was elected last night. So she could try to have dialogue with China, but again, that would only be in the role of an opposition party leader, and it wouldn't be representing the government of Taiwan.
And how is her peace-oriented approach seen or viewed in Taiwan? Is it more popular, or do people criticize it? How does it look like over there?
The voters tend to swing back and forth in recent elections on this issue, so it's frankly a bit early to tell how this would play out in the upcoming local elections about a year from now, November 2026, or the national elections in January 2028. But there's certainly a segment of society here that feels that the government of the Democratic Progressive Party has been too aggressive in creating tension between China and Taiwan. But there's also many people here who say, no, it's China that is the threat, and we have to safeguard Taiwan's sovereignty. And often the voters of Taiwan are pretty evenly split on which is the best approach to take.
And Ross, can you tell us more about what this KMT's rejection of the red labor rhetoric, what does this mean?
The Democratic Progressive Party, which is the ruling party here in Taiwan, their politicians or media aligned with the Democratic Progressive Party, they often accuse the Kuomintang of being too close to the Communist Party of China. So they use the red color and say, oh, you're pro-red because you're too willing to talk to China, even though China is threatening to Taiwan. Is a threat to Taiwan. So this is a kind of an insult, and to say, you're too red, you're too close to China, you're not protecting Taiwan. and it's a label that the DPP often uses on the KMT.
Right. Thank you very much, Ross, for joining us.